Hello friends, today we are going to talk about the continent Antarctica. So let's start. Firstly, we should know about its facts and figures. So here its major mountain is Trans-Antarctic Mountains. Highest point is Vinson Massif and its height is 4,892 meter. Largest glacier is Lambert Glacier and chief resources are water and fish and krill. So Antarctica lies almost circularly about the South Pole and it is the fifth largest continent of the world. It is almost half the size of Africa and is larger than Europe and Australia. It is permanently frozen, so it is referred as white continent because it is permanently frozen. And it is the coldest and loneliest place on the earth. Now let's talk about the discovery and exploration of Antarctica. Antarctica was largely unknown to the outside world until the early 18s, when its land was first sighted by explorers from various countries. For a long time, exploration remained limited to the coastal regions of the continent. In the 20th century, there was a race among nations to reach the South Pole first. In 1911, Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen reached the South Pole. So in 1911, the Norwegian explorer, he was from Norway and his name was Roald Amundsen, and he reached firstly to the South Pole. And soon afterwards, British explorer Captain Robert Scott reached the spot only to find the Norwegian flag already flying there. On his return journey, a disappointed Scott and his team perished in the snow. Some months later, a rescue team found their bodies. Some also found Captain Scott's diaries and letters, which told of a brave but tragic struggle against cold, hunger, and sickness. Many explorers and scientists have visited Antarctica since and carried out detailed and systematic studies. Today, an international treaty ensures that Antarctica is used only for scientific purposes, and that's why it is called the continent for science. Teams of explorers and scientists from various countries have established base camps and observatories here to conduct experiments. India has also established base camps in Antarctica. Let us learn the land system of Antarctica. If we notice, then the continent is almost circular, except near the Antarctic Peninsula and the two main bays, Weddell Sea and the Ross Sea. Almost the whole of Antarctica lies to the south of the Antarctic Circle. The only area which is to the north of the circle is the Antarctic Peninsula. That is Antarctic Peninsula, and it is a narrow strip of land which comes close to Cape Horn of South America. Antarctic is surrounded by the southern parts of the Indian, Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. These form what is called the Antarctic Ocean or the Southern Ocean. Almost the whole of Antarctica is covered with a very thick ice sheet, and the average thickness of this sheet is about 2000 meters. It is about 2000 meters. And it has been estimated that the ice on Antarctica contain about 70% of world's total supply of fresh water. 70%. And along the coast, the ice sheet spreads out over the seas as floating ice shelves, and from these ice shelves we get icebergs. Large blocks of ice get separated from the ice shelves and float in the surrounding water, and these blocks are called icebergs. Many glaciers move over the continent, and the Lambert Glacier is the largest in the world. Mountains and rugged surfaces characterize the terrain of Antarctica, and the shores are very steep. There are some bare valleys, and they are called dry valleys, and which are free from ice. These dry valleys are free from ice. And Queen Maud Land, a plateau with mountains along the coastal areas on the eastern side of the continent, and the Trans-Antarctic Mountains. Trans-Antarctic Mountains, we talked earlier only that this mountain is the major mountain in Antarctica. So this Trans-Antarctic Mountain only divide the continent into the two parts, and the narrower western part is known as Lesser Antarctic or Western Antarctic, and the larger eastern part is known as the Great Antarctic or East Antarctic. Vinson Massif, and its height is 4,892 meters, is the highest point in Antarctica. Mount Erebus, its height is 3,794 meters, and Mount Erebus on Ross Island in the Ross Sea is an active volcano. Is the climatic condition of Antarctica. In Antarctica, the sun rays are always extremely slanting. This we all know. Even in summer, that is between November to February. Here, summer season comes from November to February, when the continent receives the maximum sunlight. The average temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius, except along the coast. In large part of the continent, the sun never sets during this period. During winter, that is between May and August, those areas remain in darkness. The temperature can drop below minus 60 degrees Celsius, and the lowest temperature on the earth was minus 89.2 degrees Celsius and was recorded in Antarctica. And blizzards are the snowstorms are common. Strong winds blow throughout the year. Only the central part of the continent around the south pole is relatively calm. There is very little precipitation, so Antarctica is a cold desert. Sometimes wavy bands or patches of colored light appear in the sky, and these are called auroras. And auroras appear when charged particles coming from the sun hit particles in the earth's upper atmosphere. Aurora is australis or southern lights, and they are called aurora boreals or northern lights in the northern hemisphere. So aurora australis in the southern lights, and aurora borealis in the northern lights. During spring, between September and November, the level of ozone in the ozonosphere above Antarctica falls significantly, forming what is called an ozone hole. This is ozone hole. And the level of ozone rises again in summer. The ozone hole is formed due to natural causes, but its size is found to be increasing gradually. Many scientists believe that this is due to the rise in the level of certain compounds such as CFCs as a result of human activities. As you have learned earlier, this is a cause for worry, because with lesser ozone, the atmosphere is letting the more of the sun harmful ultraviolet rays to enter the earth. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe the channel Kids Learning Club. Thank you.